All right, class, welcome back to completing the square for Algebra 1. This is a quadratic equation. It reads m squared plus 10m equals a negative 8. I do enjoy trying to see if our quadratics are factorable. So I'm looking for numbers that multiply together to give me 8, that sum together to give me 10. And we're going to quickly realize not factorable. So completing the square is definitely an option. It's not always the fastest, but it is definitely an option. Now, I'm going to try and go back. My suggestion is you write down the steps I gave you in the last video. I'm going to try and color code them the exact same way. Step 1, you're asked to isolate the quadratic term and the linear term from the constant term. Now you're going to see quadratic and linear is already separated. I am going to rewrite it, step 1, and put some extra room for the completion of the squared, the trinomial square, to put some room for the completion. And then I'm going to put the negative 8, leave it on the other side with some space beside that. All right. Step 2, in green, I'm taking half of the linear coefficient. Well, the linear coefficient is 10. So 1/2 of 10 is 5, okay? That's step number 2. Step number 3, I'm to take that value and square it. So I want to take the value of 5, I want to square it, and I get 25. So this is step number 3. I'm taking half of the linear coefficient, half of the linear coefficient, which is 10, half of it is 5. I'm taking that 5 value and I am squaring it. That's step number 3. Then you're to add it to both sides. So this is not plus 5, but plus 25, both sides. Back it right. Okay, so that's step number 3. Half of the linear term squared. Step number 4 says factor the left-hand side. So I'm back to x squared plus, changing from m's to x's, but that's going to work. Keep me from rewriting this. 25 minus 8 should result in 17. This is okay. What I'm interested in is taking this and seeing if I can factor it, which I can now because this is always going to be what's inside the parentheses, whatever this is. Now note, this time I have a positive product and a positive sum, so they're both going to be plus this time. Okay? Square root of 25 is 5, and 5 plus 5 is going to add to 10. These two binomials, just like the last example, are always going to be the same. They will never be different. Okay? Never be different. So now I'm going to rewrite this as the quantity x plus 5, and because there are 2 of them, I'm squaring it. I'm just rewriting what's in the previous step. And that's step number 5. We're to solve by the square roots method. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. And I get same color. X plus 5 equals plus or minus square root of 17. 17 does not have a perfect root. Okay, that's okay. So what we have calculators for if we're looking for an estimate or an approximation. So x plus 5 equals plus or minus square root of 17. That means my answers, my 2 answers, are going to be plus or minus square root of 17 minus 5. And when I rewrite them separately, I have x equals square root of 17 minus 5. I also have another answer, which is the negative square root of 17 minus 5. Now please note, these are exact values, okay? That is not what's going to appear in the back of your text in the odd answers. That is not what's going to be there. In Algebra 2, I'm going to ask for exact. Algebra 1, we're going to give it a decimal equivalent. So you're going to type in square root of 17, hit enter, and then from that subtract 5. It is close to a negative 0.8768. And I believe we're going to go to the nearest hundredth. So for us, it's going to be close to a negative point. Maybe it was thousands, I can't remember. If it's thousands, it's 877. If it's nearest hundredth, it's 0.88. Okay. For the next one, it is a negative, so use your negative key, then do square root of 17. I would hit enter, so it's a negative 4.123, and from that you're going to subtract 5. So I get approximately a negative 9.123, which is close to a negative 9.123. Now, if your author says nearest hundredth, you guys are big boys and girls, just round one place less. I can't really remember what he says in the directions. You say, what does all this mean? It means it does not cross the x-axis at integers, but it crosses between integers. So for us, negative 0.87 is just before negative 1, and negative 9.1 is between negative 9 and negative 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So somewhere in here makes a parabola. It opens up because it is a positive m squared, or I changed to x's, x squared. All right, hope you had fun. Follow the directions. If it says give an estimate, follow those directions by plugging it in on your calculator. Otherwise, they're looking for exact zeros. All right, blessings.